Hello, EduMagicians. Welcome to the EduMagic Podcast with your host, Dr. Sam Fessich. Dr. Sam is a professor of education, author of EduMagic, and a pumpkin spice latte fan. This podcast is designed for pre-service teachers. Remember, friends, teaching doesn't begin at graduation, but during that first class at 8 a.m. Let's get this party started.
Hi, I'm Kim Laprie from the Teachers Need Teachers podcast, a part of the Education Podcast Network, just like the show you're listening to now. Shows on the network are individually owned and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other interesting podcasts at edupodcastnetwork.com.
Hey friends, finding a teaching job is tough, and finding the right teaching job for you can be even harder. But don't worry, AAEE has you covered. Attend the Education Career Fair on Thursday, October 24th, 2019 from 1 to 5 p.m. at the Norfolk Waterside Marriott in Norfolk, Virginia to find your perfect match. Districts from the local area and across the country are ready with jobs to offer. Whether you're looking for your first teaching job or you just want to see what options are out there, you'll be sure to make great connections that you won't regret. And you may walk away with a copy of the trusty Job Search Handbook for Educators. Candidate registration is always free, so go online, aaee.org/conference now.
Hey, EduMagicians, it's Sam here. I am so excited to bring you episode 19 of the EduMagic podcast. This is a compilation episode, and I'll tell you a little bit of backstory about how I got this idea. So I wanted to get advice from stakeholders from around the country about how student teachers can stand out during their student teaching practicum, whether it be 7 weeks, 14 weeks, or a whole year. So I asked, and so many people delivered with awesome advice and tips for you all. And so sit back, relax. This is a compilation episode highlighting over 20 educators. Some are administrators, some are practicing teachers, some are superintendents, world speakers in education, and I know you're going to love it. So let's jump right in. Here we go. First up, we have Hannah Sansom, a third grade teacher in Pennsylvania, who's going to share 2 pieces of advice every student teacher needs.
Hey student teachers, this is Hannah. I just want to offer you some advice for stepping out during student teaching. Number 1, take initiative. Don't take the backseat approach. Take that step forward. Offer to help your co-op out. Be creative. Put the time in. Go above and beyond. Number 2, have a listening ear. Being a teacher and a student teacher and an educator of impact does not happen overnight. So listen to what your co-op says. They will offer some great advice, and it's sometimes we just need to listen to another teacher to tell us what we're doing and how we can improve, and just listen to those suggestions that are being made. So 1, take initiative, and 2, have a listening ear. If you have any questions about student teaching or becoming an educator of impact, feel free, reach out to me. You can find me on Twitter at Hannah J. Sansom or on Instagram at Multiplying Learning, and I wish you the best of luck.
I love this piece of advice offered by Hannah Sansom. Always have a listening ear, be ready for feedback, and then also get involved. Up next, we have Dean Gainey, who is an educator. He's also an amazing author of The Journey to the Why in You by EduMatch, and here's what he has to say for future teachers.
What can teachers do to stand out? I think that a teacher who brings all of him or her to the classroom, skills, talents, dreams, hopes, ambitions, drives, experience, wisdom, will stand out with kids because you can offer more to them. You can relate to them. You can encourage them to reach for maybe some of the things that they see in you or beyond that.
I don't know about you guys, but whenever I hear Dean speak, I get chills. And I think that's so true what he talks about. Put all of yourself into your student teaching experience. This is the first and last time, cross your fingers hopefully, that you're going to have this type of opportunity to be a guest in somebody else's classroom, to try new things, to put yourself out there. So I encourage you to take Dean's advice and put all of yourself out there for your students. We're going to keep the EduMatch love going, and we have another author from EduMatch named Brent Cooley, who's up next. He's the author of Stories of Edu Influence, host of the Teaching Tales podcast, and a principal. Let's listen in on his words of wisdom for student teachers.
So what can a student teacher do to separate himself or herself? One of the things that I have found as an elementary school principal when looking to fill open positions and sifting through resumes and things like that, that online presence, particularly social media from an educational perspective, seeing a student teacher who is already active on social media, on Twitter, kind of highlighting the learning that he or she is doing in their programs, in their student teaching, what books they're reading, things like that. What that does is it showcases, it shows, wow, this is somebody who is going the extra mile, who wants to learn, who wants to share his or her learning. You often hear those horror stories about how social media can cost people jobs. They can lose their job because of inappropriate use of social media. I can say that I have had this happen to me, the opposite of that, where I found a teacher because of social media, because she did what I had talked about, separated herself, showed about the learning that she does online, and it led to an interview, and it led to her landing a job at our school. So what I would say, advice, get on social media, showcase the learning that you are doing, because that can really help separate you from the dozens, if not hundreds of other applicants for one particular job.
Friends, you know how I feel about social media. It really is a game changer, like Brent said. Yes, it could be used for not so great stuff, but think about the edu awesomeness you can put out there on social media to showcase yourself as the amazing edu magician that you are. So I encourage you to do so. And if you want some tips to hop on Twitter and how to harness your digital presence, please reach out and contact me. You know where to find me on Twitter and Instagram. But yeah, I'd love to help you out. Let's see who we have up next. All right, friends, up next we have Ray Huart. You may know her from the Teach Better team. She is the Director of Training and Development with the Teach Better team. She's also the co-host of the Teach Better Talk podcast, and she's an amazing person. You need to have her in your PLN. Here she is sharing some of her advice for student teachers.
Hey, student teachers, it's Ray Huart. I am a general education teacher. I teach 6th grade math in Central Illinois, which is super fun. I get to see about 150 middle schoolers every single day, and it is always a blast with sarcasm and hormones. In addition to that, I am a director of training and development for the Teach Better team, and I am an assistant professor at Illinois State University. So I kind of get to see a bunch of different types of students and teachers and all different realms. But I wanted to wish you luck as you begin your student teaching, hopefully very soon. It's kind of the most fun part of the process, finally getting in the classroom and at least a more consistent schedule. One of the main elements that I have seen as I continue to work with student teachers in my classroom and future teachers in a classroom setting is the need for student teachers to step out of the box and ask those really hard questions. I know that it's scary and you kind of feel like you're being thrown in with the sharks, and the expectation seems to be that you know everything, but it's absolutely not the case. And if you're working with a co-op that thinks you know everything, then trust me, you're with the wrong co-op. Every single student teacher should be soaking in the opportunity to ask questions. And sometimes the question is, I'm not sure what to ask, but I know I have questions. You know, some of those opportunities to reflect with the teachers around you during student teaching are the most valuable opportunities and the most open conversations that you're ever going to get in your career. You have no idea where you're going to end up teaching, and the group that you are placed with is already committed to being a group to support you. So any question, any opportunity you have to reach out and get the answers that you may not have learned in your college class is definitely the opportunity for student teaching. Obviously, if you guys have any questions, I would be happy to help if you feel like you still have questions that are unanswered, and I'm confident that your professor will absolutely do the same. But don't forget that you're not only asking questions about the classroom and lesson planning and working with students, but you're also asking the questions about building structure, possible union opportunities, leadership opportunities, ways to connect with students outside of the classroom. You know, it's funny, when we go throughout our learning experience, we think a lot about how to actually teach effectively. The 47 minutes of instruction that I get with the 11 and 10-year-olds every single day. But the reality is that's probably only about 50% of what I do in the classroom. I, as a teacher, take on the role of a counselor and everything else in between. So you're going to want to ask those questions too. So don't be shy. And if you ever get to a situation where someone won't answer your questions, then that doesn't mean you won't get the answer. It just means you have to go find somebody else to support you. So good luck with student teaching. There are so many different things that you're going to experience. And remember that you take everything with a grain of salt, and even a more challenging placement is still an opportunity to learn something and better impact the students that you'll have in the future. So good luck, and reach out if you need anything.
Friends, I couldn't agree more. I love this piece from Ray where she talks about asking those tough questions. And sometimes you might not even know the question you have to ask, but you know that there's something going on and you just want some feedback and advice. So please never, ever feel worried about asking a silly question. There is no such thing. Ask, and if you can't get an answer, ask somebody else, and just keep asking those questions. That's how you learn, and that's how you grow to be an educator of excellence. Up next, we have Dr. Amy Heger, who is an award-winning educator and business coach. She is super passionate about helping educators reach their highest potential and maximize their passions and expertise. So here she is with some advice just for you, student teachers.
I think when student teachers get in there, like, you're so excited. You're finally, like, doing it for real, kind of. You know, like, you have... like, I remember the teacher that I was going to teach with, like, I had been kind of like observing her classroom for a semester already in the fall. And so I was like ready to go in the spring. And I had all these ideas, and like, she was a lot older. Like, she was only had a couple of years left before she was going to retire. So I had all these like the technology and just all much technology they had in their, 2004. But I was really excited, and but she wasn't down for it. So I got a lot of resistance. And then, like, after all was said and done, she was just like, you're really great and you're going to be awesome. But like during, so I guess like a suggestion I would make is just like, don't try to be perfect. Like, look at this as like another class. Like, you're still learning, and just try to pull as much as you can, like, in regards to things that are going to be consistent. Like, I wouldn't stress about, if you're teaching Hamlet, for example, like getting it perfect. What I would try to really push is practice different ways to engage with the kids and develop that relationship quickly. You've been in a school for a couple of years, like you might have taught siblings, and, you might live in the neighborhood and things like that. So the kids and parents might already know you. So I would be trying things that work best for your personality to build those relationships. So you got some teachers that, sit on the desk and talk about sports. That was not me. You have some teachers who like stay, like have kids come at lunch, and I'm like, that wasn't me either. Like, I had to find other ways to build bonds, and I built bonds by incorporating like relevant topics and high interest in my lessons, and that skill could be transferred. So I guess finding skills that doesn't matter what kid you're with and what school you're in and what grade and what class, whatever, that you can practice while you have the covering of a student teacher. The cooperating teacher. I think we get so bogged down with the details of a specific lesson plan or a specific topic, when we should be kind of practicing our classroom management strategies, just the general organization and procedures of a classroom, that you can try a couple things, see what works for you. Like, you got some teachers that, like, I had one teacher who was all about binders. Everything got put in a binder, and I'm like, that ain't me either. So, like, I'm more of a digital girl. And you got some people that like to do file folders. You got some people that like to do Post-it notes. So giving yourself permission to change your mind and really kind of figure out what's for you, instead of like really focusing on a specific like topic.
I love how Dr. Amy shares about the importance of getting to know your students, building those relationships, find ways to teach them that are relevant and going to hook into their lives to help them, engage in the content. Don't worry too much about, it's okay if your lesson doesn't go as planned, but as long as you try some classroom management strategies, some different ways to engage the students in learning, you're doing okay. So let's see who we have up next. Adam Welcome is up next. He is an educator, a speaker, and an author of 3 books, Kids Deserve It, Run Like a Pirate or Run LAP, and Empower Our Girls. I'm really excited to have him join in and share his advice for future student teachers. Let's hear what he has to say.
Sam, new teachers, what's going on? Adam Welcome here, former teacher, vice principal, director of innovation. Now I am a full-time speaker and author and just travel the country and work with educators. And, my advice to new student teachers that kind of want to stand out is a couple things. Ask questions. Ask a lot of questions. Listen, and then talk. Nobody wants somebody that thinks they're a know-it-all. Principals and teachers, when they're hiring colleagues, want people that are going to be a good colleague. And a lot of that comes with just listening and asking questions. And I also feel something that is important to do is when you're doing your student teaching is to, in your own time or while you're with your master teacher, is to go observe other teachers at the school. Because credential programs try their hardest to match up student teachers with the right fit personality-wise in a master teacher, but they don't always get it right. And even if they do get it right, it's important to go observe other people, because that's how you learn, by observing other people and watching other people teach. Because the master teacher that you're with is just one person, one example of how to teach. And hey, go see other teachers in different grade levels with different styles. They're going to do some things well. They're going to just do some things not as well. And you're going to learn actually more from the people that don't do it as well, just because you're going to learn what you don't want to do, which is actually going to help you inform your own practice even more, maybe in some cases, than if you were observing somebody that does it really, really well. So the third thing I would say is you got to be on Twitter. Twitter is the place where educators meet and communicate and collaborate and share ideas and challenge each other and everything in between. I'm sure Sam has been preaching that to you, but I'm going to say that if you do nothing else, get on Twitter. If all you do is just go to your master teacher's classroom and do that, and then get on Twitter, you got to be on Twitter. You can follow me at Mr. Adam Welcome, connect with other pre-service teachers, and you're going to learn and grow in such amazing ways. And hey, don't hesitate to reach out to me on social media or on Voxer. I'm just Mr. Adam Welcome on everything, and best of luck to you.
Oh my gosh, you guys, I love what Adam says. Of course, get connected on Twitter, on Instagram, connect with educators, administrators, and other pre-service teachers that are going to help challenge you and grow you as the edumagician, and that I know that you are. As always, all of the show notes are going to be posted up on www.sfessage.com/19. And if you guessed it, yes, this is a 2-part series because we have so much goodness coming out of this episode. I had to split it into 2, so you'll have to check out the next episode coming out soon. Go to www.sfessage.com/19 for show notes and for a list of everyone who contributed to today's episode. You're going to find how to contact them, whether it be on Twitter and Instagram, and then also how to find any of their publications that they may have. All right, guys, have a lovely week, and I will see you back here, same time, same station. Have a great day.
And there you have it, Edumagicians. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share it with your friends. For more Edumagic, check out sfessage.com and follow Dr. Sam on Twitter and Instagram at sfessage. Until next time, you have the Edumagic within you.